Good afternoon, everybody. How you doing? Welcome to Super Bowl Sunday. This is Mastering the Laws of Attraction, and I am your host, Coach Renz for Mastering the Law of Attraction. And first, Falcons rise up, because I am Atlanta born and bred, so I had to get that in there. Sorry, I know this video is totally about something different, but got to get that piece in. Now, although I am a Falcons fan, I am a Super Bowl fan. I watch the Super Bowl every year for the most part. And yes, tomorrow or Tuesday, I will do a video to break down the halftime show, because I know some of my listeners are like me. You pay attention to symbolism and sacred geometry, things like that. So we'll do a little video breaking that down by Tuesday. So just depending on what the show is about, so I have time to break it down. Now, here's the thing. Super Bowl Sunday is upon us. What is going to happen? What's been happening in the city of Atlanta? People have been spending all kinds of money. The city of Atlanta has made millions and millions of dollars in merchandising, in alcohol sales, in chicken wing sales, and all other types of food. And that's in the city who's just going to the Super Bowl. I can imagine how much money has been spent in Houston. All right. Now, here's the thing about Houston and Atlanta, a similarity that they share. They have incredibly large African-American, black, whatever you want to call it, but they have a large number of high melanin count populations, right? So, and for sake of argument, we'll just use the term black. They have a high black populations in both cities. And during this week, millions and millions of dollars just from that one community will have been spent. But how much of it will have been spent on businesses that are of the same color, that are of the same hue, that live and work and is trying to thrive within their own community? Little to none. And the fact of the matter is, most of the chicken wings that will be purchased, if not purchased from a store like Walmart or Kroger or Publix, will be purchased at a chicken wing place that is owned by somebody who doesn't live in that community. It's a sad state. And the thing about it is that if there is one that lives in that community, they will not receive the lion's share of the purchases, because those who want Black Wall Street fail to understand that it won't happen without a plan. And I have such a plan. That the black economy and the black community will never thrive without a plan. Now, we can try to build Black Wall Streets by setting up businesses, by getting the other business owners who are interested. Of course, the business owners are interested in setting up Black Wall Streets, but the black community at large is not interested. The black community at large is not led to that, because the plan for them is not to build a Black Wall Street. You have to come to this realization. You need to understand that the black community is not being led to have a Black Wall Street. And before you say it is a Trump era thing, before you say it is a Republican thing, before you say that it is the white man or the Asian man or any other man that does not live in your community and does not share your same hue, it is not the plan of the African American community leadership within itself. Sure, the business leadership may want it. And yes, you will say, let's go put money in the black banks. But here's the problem with putting money in the black banks. The black banks are still federally regulated. They still have their criterias in order to lend money. You can give them your money, which will elevate that bank to a higher status. But even at that higher status, you still have to have the credit score. You still have to have the net worth. You still have to have those things in place in order to get a loan, and especially a business loan. You see, the bank will easily give you a loan for a car because it causes you to be in more debt. They'll give you a loan for a house because you're in more debt. They'll give you secured and unsecured credit cards because you're in more debt. But what they struggle to give you, what they have higher regulations for, is giving you a loan that starts you a business that could cause you to become financially independent, because that is their plan. But I have a different plan. Now, the bigger part of that plan actually involves the churches and black leadership. And this is not the business leadership. This has to do with the black leadership as far as your NAACPs and SCLCs and primarily your mosque and your churches. These people, they tell you hope, but they don't want you to become independent of themselves. They sell you love, but they don't want you to love yourself enough to care about your community to make a change in it. They sell you unity within the body of coming to the church, but not the unity of your community. So they will tell you the old story of long suffering. That you must have long suffering, which is something that was told to the slaves to have long suffering for the hereafter. That you will not have your heaven now, not have your piece of the pie now, but wait for the long suffering and live in long suffering until you reach heaven's gate. So the idea is be good to your masters and serve them, whether they are good or bad. Give unto Caesar what is Caesar's. Turn the other cheek. Don't store up your treasures on earth, but to store it up in the kingdom. So seek ye first the kingdom. They will tell you these while others are getting their treasure and still will meet you at the gate. Others are having their cake and their pie, and they will still meet you at the gate. Others are increasing the power structure of their community, and they will still meet you at the gate. So we can continue with this current plan that we have, or we can follow a new plan. And I have a plan, and we can follow a new plan. Now, yesterday was an awesome day in the fact that a business owner came into my store. He owns a beauty supply store with his bride. And we had this discussion of how he, in this area that I'm in now, this Alpharetta Roswell area, tried to do a similar program to the plan that I have. But the black leadership, the church, wouldn't do it because their plan is to keep you hopeful. Their plan is to give you a love that's unattainable. Their plan is a unity that does not involve the current community. Their plan is for you to remain long suffering until you reach the gate, and where you'll see all those standing next to you who also had their heaven on earth as well as they're at the gate with you. We had a plan. He has a plan. I have a plan. Now, we could either stay in this situation where we are long suffering, where we are still slaves to the economy, slaves to the will of politicians, slaves to the crime, slaves to the degradation of communities, slaves to regentrification of your communities, or we can follow a new plan. A plan that tells every pastor that they will set up training programs for, one, the businesses within their church so that they understand who is a legitimate business, train them in customer service, train them in financial management, train them in personnel management. Then those businesses will be supported by the membership of the church. And then after they are supported by the membership of the church, which at the same time will be training their parishioners, their congregation in customer service, in management, in financial management, financial planning, financial management, will then be the ones that the businesses will hire. You see, the businesses will be told that if we support you, then you have to come back and support us in hiring the people at our church. And this can't be something that's said once every quarter or once or twice a year, but it has to be repeated as often as you repeat giving of the tithes. You see, you can stand in church and you can teach redemption. There must be redemption. And if you want to have redemption, then you got to put the dollar in the plate. No, we must teach community. We must have community. And if you want to have community, we must circulate the dollar in the community. In order to do that, and if you did that, then what would happen in that community? Others would seek out your church because they know that their business will thrive. Others will seek out your church because they know that they will be able to gain employment. The teenagers will be able to gain employment, so they will seek out your church as well. And as they seek out your church, you're teaching them how to fish. And now that they know how to fish, they can become fishermen of other men. Because as they come through your doors, now you can teach them your rhetoric. Now you can teach them your doctrine. But as many of you will say, is it better to tell a man who is hungry to be full, or is it better to feed the man? Now, after you have fed the man, is it better to teach the man how to fish, or is it better to give the man a fish? All of you will say that you must feed the man before you can teach the man. Then all of you will also say that you should teach a man how to fish instead of giving him the fish. So I have a plan. I'm willing to share the plan. I'm willing to work with people who want to start the plan. And as we build in one congregation, then neighboring congregations will be built, so that when there is not a business in this congregation and we have yet to build someone in this congregation who can establish that business, maybe a sister church or brother church has somebody and we can go to that one. After we've served our own, we can serve the next church. And we create a network. And within that network, we build an entire community. Now the politician must listen to you. Now the political landscape must listen to you. Now the road construction must happen in your community. Now the better schools must happen in your community. Now the better policing must happen in your community. When you do that, then you raise the standard of the community. Now you are giving the youth hope. Now you are showing love. Now you are bringing in unity. And now there is no need for long suffering, but you can have what the Creator says it is for you to have on earth as it is in heaven, as above, so below. I have a plan. I have a plan. I have a plan.